Hello, hello, hello. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Come in, come in, come in. This is Tamika's Den. I am Tamika. Get on in here, y'all. Get on in here. Kick off your shoes and relax your feet. You are now in the den. So, guys, this is Love After Lockup, the Jewler and the Thief, Season 4, Episode 31, child. What are we doing here, y'all? What are we doing here? What is going on? What is the reason? Okay, what is the reason? Can somebody tell me? I have a literal headache, child. Not figuratively, literally my head is splitting because why do we have Gabby and Chris up here on this show, WeTV? Y'all are really trifling, okay? Because if y'all know Gabby and Chris was here before, we got some accusations of physical abuse and all kind of mess going on between them. And they are a hot mess before he even gets out, child. And I just would have thought that WeTV would have, excluded them out of the cast after all of the other drama that has came out in the news. But I guess not, all right? Anything for the dollar, as they say, right? And we have Justine and Michael finally reconnecting, She bringing him home, all right? Daddy's home, okay? And we got a damn jeweler that's out here falling for a bank robber, y'all. But she's supposed to be scared that he could possibly rob her of her jewels. And let me tell you, she says she clumsy and a freak in the sheets. But, child, I think she is a little cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs, too. And we may have a drinking problem on our hands. I don't know, honey, but that seems like that's going to be a hot mess. We got a reformed ex-con who's just coming out of jail himself, who is with another ex-con that just so happened to have been with his friend who overdosed and died. Baby, can you say hot mess and drama, drama, drama? Child, let's go ahead and get into this daggone episode, y'all. And we also have, somebody who is struggling with their weight, who has never seen, their mate in person. And they want to go ahead and lose 150 pounds, child, and are hoping that once he come out, he likes what he sees. If it was up to her, she would lose lose weight in one day, wouldn't we all? But baby, let's carry on. All right, so we started out this episode with Gabby on her way to get a damn vagina tightening and some lightning, okay? I said you can't make it up, child. You cannot make it up. Now, she says that Chris is about to, basically get out. And, of course, he went to jail for drug possession, and a weapon. And he, controlled substance or whatever. He spent 5 years in jail, and she says they never had sex, but she touched it and seen it and squeezed it before, okay? And so she ready to get on with it. But, of course, there's drama in the relationship due to his mother and sister who basically feel like she's a user. And, I mean, you can't really blame them for feeling that way, right? We know that he got $150,000 settlement from this lawsuit that he had against Rikers Island where he was beaten, okay, by these guards. And so he gave her half the money, and she claims that she spent half of this daggone money on bills, apartment, okay, car, credit card debt. But then, baby, we learn later, she adds in there that, he ain't got $1 left, okay? He ain't got a dollar, he ain't got a quarter, he ain't got a dime, he ain't got a nickel, he ain't got a penny, he ain't got shit. And so now she actually does send him money or whatever. She's saying that he calls her when he needs funds and she go ahead and help him out, right? It's not coming from his family. And she's also talking about that they about to have this secret wedding that his family don't know about. So meanwhile, I don't know what you call the person that basically does the whole vagina tightening and lightening, child, but she's telling her that, about this whole marriage thing. And she's like, well, are you just doing this to make them mad or to get back at them? And she was like, no, who would do that? She's doing this because she really wants to do it. And she wants to just basically, go ahead and take that next step and be married to him and be his wife. And, that she's basically looking back out for him now. Though all the funds is gone, that she spent a few thousand. I said, well, you may as well, wait, child, you may as well after you done spent up all of his. I mean, if y'all are supposed to be in a relationship, then I would think that's how it works, right? You spend his and you spend yours or whatever else, right? And so she later says that she spent over $30,000, y'all. and cosmetic surgeries, okay? She done got her eyes done, her eyebrows done, her jawline done, her lip freaking injections, Botox, you name it, okay? And that he is probably not even going to recognize her when he's seen her because of all these different changes that she has basically made to her body since the last time that he saw her. And so, you know, he is going to be staying in the halfway house for about 2 months. You know, they actually have 4 failed releases prior to this where they thought they was going to be going to pick him up and then found out he wasn't getting out. So it's like, are you getting out for real this time? I don't want to get excited and then, you know, something happens. Now, after this procedure, she have to go ahead and put, you know, these ice packs on. And the person that was doing the procedure was basically like, look, she ain't known him that long. That part is weird. But at least when she sees him, she gonna have a type of JJ, okay? And she gonna have a damn lightened ass, okay? Whatever the hell that means. And so, you know, basically she was also saying how his mother and them want to come with her, right? And of course, that's who she basically has the issues with. For the most part, at least while he's been locked up, they have been getting along. But his mom and sister's a different story. They argue with her all the time. And she was saying how, you know, she have to go ahead and go with them. So we see where she picks them up and they go to stay in this hotel or whatever. And on the car ride, his mother immediately starts telling her, oh, he's going to be mad. He's going to be pissed when he see you, all this stuff with your lips and your tongue and your this and your that. You know, he going to be going in on you. And she basically stays quiet through the whole time that the mother's saying stuff. And when they get up inside the hotel room, the mother telling her like, well, you acting a little bit different. You don't seem yourself. And she's saying she just trying to stay as quiet as she possibly can. She was like, she could go to 0 to 100 real quick. Okay, she's a Gemini. And one thing she said that was true is that it's 2 sides of a coin with them, baby. All right, they are definitely the twin side. And so she was like, right now, I'm trying my best to stay calm and to ignore and not even say nothing. Okay, great, you know. So she telling her she just want to go to sleep. And his mom is basically like, okay, I'm not going to say nothing else to you. Then I'm not going to bother you. You know, she says, hopefully tomorrow morning she going to be in a better mood. Psych, okay. So when morning comes, Gabby is ready to go. And she's like, why would y'all come and sit down and get comfortable and want to eat a whole big long meal when we got to get up out of here and we got to meet this bus? She like, you know, they sitting around eating and acting like ain't nothing going on. They should have just grabbed something and go. I understand where she coming from with that. So when she get up there, they saying how they not in a rush, how they got more than enough time. They like, what are you rushing for? You know, do you want to get there before the bus? And she's like, yeah. So they say, well, you're ready to go. We're not ready to go. So in other words, they saying they ain't going to be on her time. They're going to be on their time. But when you're riding in somebody else's vehicle that's driving, honey, you got to be on their time, okay? So I'm like, what y'all talking about, okay? Now, in the meantime, she ends up calling Chris. She's going off now. She's like, oh, they playing around. They bullcrapping. I'm ready to go. She basically starts saying how nobody's listening to her. Everybody's been disrespecting her. And then when she gets heated and hot and heavy and, you know, starts going off, then she ends up being the bad guy and she ain't going to have nobody disrespecting her. The sister was saying how, well, what are you going to do? You know what I'm saying? Like, in other words, you just got to deal with it. And you know, we ain't getting up out no car. Why she say that? Because the minute she says that, Gabby is like, oh, well, since you saying you ain't gonna get out the car, guess what? Now I want you out the damn car. And so basically, Chris' sister was like, well, what you not gonna do is play with me or my mother. You not gonna disrespect me and all this other stuff. And she proceeds to go ahead and step out the car. Because Gabby is yelling at this point, like, get out my car, get out my car. I'm not going to go nowhere with y'all. I'm not going to deal with this or whatever. And you hear his mom saying, what are you going to do? She's saying she going to slap the shit out of her, okay? And then you hear Gabby say, what are you going to do? And that was basically how the daggone episode, you know, how had ended out, child. And she was even telling her, like, oh, well, we paid for the car, so technically it's our car. And we ain't going nowhere. I said, but did y'all pay for the car? Because to my understanding, he gave her the daggone money and she bought the car. If he wanted y'all to be in charge of his stuff and buy stuff, then he would have gave it to you. So regardless of whether you like her or agree with all her antics or whatever the case may be, it's not yours, okay? It's his and hers, if anything. And it came from his money that he put in her hands that he trusted her with, whether she spent it all up or not. that is what it is. If he felt like he wanted it to be you and your mother, then that's who it would have been. So I'm like, girl, no. And to be honest, they all have the same attitudes, and that's probably why they bump heads. The mama, her, and damn Gabby act exactly alike, okay? And so moving on from there, Justine finally rode up to this damn prison, for Michael. Of course, she's all excited and waiting for him in this damn cat suit. And, he come walking out and he got this big keyboard. So she ended up saying exactly what I'm thinking. Like, oh, that's all you came out with is a keyboard. And he's saying how he mailed all the clothes and stuff ahead of time. I was like, child, I didn't even know you could do that. All right, you learn something new every day. And of course, he loved the way she looked. He was like, oh, you look so sexy. You look so good. You know what I'm saying? My Catwoman. He was super happy to see her. The next thing he was happy and wanted was his damn jewelry, okay? And he was happy to go ahead and put his watch on and, be riding in the car. And she basically was just saying, which, listen, maybe I missed this part because I said, whoa, Justine, that's fast, okay? Even though out of all the couples, I feel like they have the best connection, at least so far, right? And they actually are a cute couple. But apparently he asked her to marry him after the third damn visit, and it was 9 days later. I didn't catch that the first time, okay? And all together they have 7 kids, right? With his 4 and her 3, it makes 7. So they like the damn Brady Bunch putting it together. Plus he talking about, he can't wait to put a bun in her oven too, which would make it 8. So I said, now that's going to be something, because we got a bunch of different personalities. We got to see if her kids is going to be liking him. We got to see if his kids going to be liking her. And we got to see if the kids is going to be able to get along together. That's a whole nother task within itself, all right? And so basically, of course, he was giving a little bit of his background and how he got into trouble and saying that, his family was poor and struggling, and he felt like he had to be the man in the house and pay the bills and put in the work. And he was like, it's easy to get caught up into that life or whatever. That his story is like most drug dealer stories, all right? But he basically was like, it's not a person on this planet that could get me to sell a nickel bag again, okay? I ain't trying to go back up in there. So I said, well, that's a good sign. We like to hear that, Michael, okay? Hopefully you could keep your word with that. And so basically, he over here talking about he shaved his balls and his ass. I said, listen, that was TMI. We ain't need to know all of that. But I guess, making sure that he got it all good for her, And at one point when they riding home, he's calling up the kids and, saying hi to all of them. And he missed them and he can't wait to see them. And, oh, daddy's out, daddy's home. And, what I'm saying, we all going to see each other as soon as we can and all of that different kind of stuff, right? And he was saying how, he had a little entanglement. So 2 of the kids actually came at the same time. And I think he said that the baby mother that had 3 of his kids also had, 3 of them are biologically his. And the other one, I guess, is from the entanglement that she has all 4 of them with her, if I'm not mistaken, right? But he's nervous just about reconnecting with them. And, he even knows that he has to learn these different personalities and get used to them again, and the time that he missed and all of that different kind of stuff, and how important they are to him. So again, that's a good sign that, he's worried about how he's going to be rebuilding these relationships. And he gets nervous while she's driving and telling her to slow down because he thought he seen a cop up ahead of them. And she's like, baby, that's not no cop, okay? Calm down, you good, you out. And even if it was, we not doing anything wrong. So you could see he have a little bit of, nervousness, maybe a little bit of trauma there or whatever. Excuse me. So when they get to the house, she giving him the tour of the house. She over here, when they getting out the car, talking about, I don't want my hair to get wet. And he all covering it up like, I got you. So he was just like, dag, it's so big. He was like, it's beautiful or whatever, right? And he's happy to be home and be in there. But at the same time, that even makes him nervous because he's been confined to such a small space for a long time. She just showing him like the kitchen, the living room, the kids' rooms. And then, of course, last but not least, their bedroom. And showing him that she got the stripper pole set up, and then she give a little twirl, around it. And he's like, okay, you've been practicing. She over here doing a dance and he throwing dollars at her. And he just was basically saying like, she's sexy. He love her body. He love her physique, her shape, her tits, her fat ass. Okay, he here for it and he ready to get up in there. She's over here talking about how she basically needs to feel like a married woman now, and asking him if he's ready to go ahead ahead and get in the shower and kicking the camera people out. You know, she's saying how this is going to be forever. Okay, she don't see this being like a 1, 2, 3. Thank you, ma'am. He ain't going nowhere no time soon. You know, he talking about getting her pregnant, like I said, ASAP. You know, when she was saying, how long do you think it's going to last? And he was like, you know, we gonna be together forever. What are you talking about? She talking about something. I ain't talking about, you know, lasting as far as the relationship. I'm talking about how long you think the sex gonna last. You know, he made me laugh because he basically was like, well, I don't know, child. I ain't gonna lie. Okay, it's been a minute. I could be a 2-minute brother, maybe even a minute and a half. I said, listen, I'm not mad at you, Michael. At least you kept it real, all right? And so she was laughing at that. So we'll see, you know what I'm saying, how they do together. Now, next we get this daggone, what is her daggone name, child? She's a hot freaking mess. We get Ashley. Ashley is a daggone jeweler, right? And she met, Travis, I think it was 4 years ago, through a customer. You know, he was the customer's brother, and she seen a picture of him and was like, he's the most gorgeous man she ever seen. She slid into his JPay, and they've been talking ever since, okay? And she was just saying, I can't believe I'm going to see you in 2 days. I'm super excited. You know, when we first see her, she busting her ass in the damn bathroom, slipping on a rug. And this is when she's like, she's so clumsy or whatever, but she's a freak in the sheets, okay? She's super fun and all of this. So she says she never been married before, but she did have somebody that got engaged to her because they liked her butt. I said, okay, girl. So in the meantime, she doing this video thing with him, and she's saying how he proposed to her through a video visit, you know, last year, whatever the case may be, and he made her this aluminum foil ring thing while he was in prison. And she said, you know, she don't care, she'll take it, at least in the meantime, because she ain't worried about a 5-carat, you know what I'm saying, ring or whatever. But he was telling her, like, you really look tired and you look like something else is going on besides, you know, your leg hurting from falling or whatever the case may be, you know. Something else happening here. And she was just saying, like, she's really anxious. She a little nervous because it's down to the wire now. You know, she'll actually be seeing him in 2 days. They'll be in, you know, front of each other. So it's a little different. But she also, of course, is scared about people finding out and judging her because he robbed the bank, right? And she says she's done spent about $80,000 now. But then she over here talking about, you know, being as though he robbed the bank, how I know that he ain't gonna end up robbing me or stealing some jewels from me. So I said, girl, if you don't fully trust him, then what are we doing accepting damn rings and saying we gonna get married? But of course, this is, you know, love after lockup. So I, you know what I'm saying, digress. And so, you know, she got, you know, all these nerves and second thoughts or whatever, but at the same time, she's saying that she trusts him and she's looking forward to it and she's excited for it. And she says, you know, with it being 2 days away, that feels like an hour to her. And she's just having so many different emotions. And at the same time, she's saying he's her best friend. He knows her better than anybody. And, at the same time, she's scared about people finding out that she was with an inmate. So I said, girl, yeah, you sound real daggone, you know, confused right about now, okay? I don't think you know which way is damn up, but, you know what I'm saying, we gonna continue and we gonna see what the heck she talking about. You know, she says she has had 4 years to get to know him. And so she go ahead and get off this video call with him. Now, in the meantime, you know, she's upset because she thinks that Martin, who just so happens to be her handyman and her next door neighbor, was telling her that he was no longer going to babysit for her or dog sit for her and house sit for her, I should say, right? And so she calls him over like, what you talking about? What is this text about that you sent me? And he was like, no, I was just asking you, is it still on? Do you still want me to do it? And she was like, oh, well, then I guess I misunderstood it. So she go ahead to go in and make them some daggone drinks so they could sit down and talk. And she looked like she already been damn drinking up a storm. And she starts to say how Travis has really told her that he wanted her to end this friendship, that he didn't want her hanging out with him. Definitely don't want her drinking with him because drinking could lead to things. But, of course, we going to do all the opposite of what he want. And we gonna go behind his back anyway. You know, it's a picture of Travis up on the fridge. And she talking about, sorry, babe. And she go ahead to make him a drink and go back out there and proceeds to tell him, like, you know, oh, well, he don't want me hanging with you. And then we find out that Martin, okay, has tried to shoot his shot as well. And just was trying to get, you know what I'm saying, see if he could get a rap with her. from a couple of weeks ago, assuming that she turns him down and he knows all about Travis. But she's telling him, like, well, good thing you're living next door because you could protect me if anything should go wrong, but it shouldn't be going wrong. I said, huh? Okay, girl. I said, Martin, watch yourself, boo, because you sound like you about to get put into a whole bunch of bull crap from your damn friend Ashley, all right, if you want to know my opinion. And so, you know, she's sitting out here splitting the drinks between them and telling him she gonna pour a little bit more in her cup because he may not be able to handle it or whatever. And she's telling him about this. And he's like, well, hopefully everything works out good. He's like, you feel like you trust him? He was like, you know, have you ever even seen him? She's like, yeah, I did see him because I was going to visits. But then COVID happened, you know. And she's saying, well, I really don't think anything would go wrong. I pretty much feel like everything is going to be all right. But if it did, then, you know, I would be glad to know that you're here. And then he basically was saying, like, yeah, hopefully he would like to be able to meet him and to form some type of relationship with him too. He wouldn't want it to be any animosity or violence. Now, I don't know why, you know, he decided to throw violence in there, but she was like, well, then don't do no violence. And he was like, no, I'm not. I'm just saying. So then, you know, after they, I guess, get on the same page and clear that up, she just basically asked him, do he want another drink? And he's like, yeah, and they go walking in behind. And I said, that is a damn train that is ready to go off the tracks, y'all. Okay, remember I said it. Now, moving on from him, we get Nathan and Skylar, child. Nathan is 30, okay, an ex-con himself, and Skylar's 27. Now, he's meeting up with his aunt to go do this shopping or whatever the case may be. You know, he says he's a tree trimmer. He likes being adventurous. He finds himself to be a very sensitive person. He don't know why he's so sensitive. And basically, he has been dating Miss Skylar for a year now, right? And she was dating a friend of his first. I said, uh-oh, wait a minute. But the friend passed away, okay? The friend actually OD'd, was using fentanyl, right? And he sent her something saying, sorry for your loss. And the next thing you know, she hit him back with a message. And from that point, they hit it off and they have, you know, fell in love. He fell in love with her instantly. Since then, okay, they've been on and popping. And so he gets a call, of course, while he's shopping, and he's saying how he's trying to buy romantic things, and she's like, what romantic things? She's like, oh, are you getting furniture? And he's like, no, babe, I'm getting stuff for the house, stuff you need, or whatever the case may be. Now, she's telling him, no, get pictures of cows. When I was in my old place, I had cows. I always liked cows. Okay. Then she talking about get Buddha statues. You know, I'm not a Buddhist. But I just like the Buddha statues. I think they're really cute. So he's like, yeah, okay, babe. So when he goes back inside, his aunt is just basically worried what effect this is going to have on him. She's asking him, like, what is your anxiety level right now? What is your expectations? Because you know your past history, right? And the aunt starts to tell us a little bit of background of the fact that once, you know, his mom passed away at a young age, he just got on the wrong path and started messing up ever since then. And, you know, he could find himself going back down to a dark hole. So with him getting with somebody that's just coming out now, you know, how is that going to work? And he's basically saying, well, I think that's a good thing for us because we both could relate and we both are kind of coming from the same place, right? And so later on, you know, he's at this bar with his friends and he gets a call from her again and he's saying how he's at the bar playing pool. And she gets real upset and starts going off because she's like, yo, you know, bad people hang out there. You know, my history there and what's happened to me. You know, I don't want you going there. When I get out, I don't want to go there. I don't want us hanging around certain settings that's not going to be healthy for us. And I can respect that. That's a good sign. That means that she has no intention, hopefully, of going back to the lifestyle that she had before, and she feels like if you're hanging in that spot, then stuff could happen, right? Excuse me. So he's basically like, nah, I'm just here with my friends playing pool. It's not that type of party. And he starts to go into how it's been a lot of gossip about her. A lot of people are saying things because we found out she had not one boyfriend that passed away with this fentanyl situation, but actually two. And people were just like, what's the chances of two? And somebody supposedly had told him he could be the third one. And I was like, well, wait a minute now. So you know, he ends up saying, like, let me go ahead and finish, you know what I'm saying, chilling or whatever, playing my pool. We good. And he hangs up with her. And he continues the conversation with his friends. Like, you know, sometimes it does bother him with people saying that. And he just can't wait for her to get out and be able to prove them wrong. And the friend is like, yeah, you know what I'm saying, that is a lot. And then he made a comment like, yeah, because you know how I am, and I'm not going to take too much of people saying different things. Then, you know what I'm saying, I got to pop off. So then we see him again and sitting in the car and getting a call from her. And he's saying how he's at, you know, Long John Silver's. And this time she not really sounding so up and bubbly like she have the last times he talking to her. So he like, well, why you sounding like that or whatever, you know, where's my vibrant person at? And she basically saying how this going to be her last weekend in jail. And he's like, yeah. And then he was saying how, you know, it's that time where it's cold and, you know, you snuggling up and you watching horror movies and stuff like that. So it's going to be perfect for her to be out because they could watch horror movies together. She like, it's cuffing season. And he like, did you really just say cuffing? Like, you already in cuffs. So she was like, yeah. And then at one point he likes to say, you know, tell me you love me. And she just continued on about something she been wanting to eat. And he was like, so you gonna just ignore me and act like I didn't just say something to you? And she was like, what did you say? Did you say you loved me? And he was like, yeah, well, actually I was telling you to tell me you love me. And she was like, I love you. So when he get off, we see that he's not actually going in Long John Silver's. He's actually going in a damn jewelry place where he done had a damn rose made up for her, you know, and gonna put this engagement ring in the rose to give it to her. That actually was cute. He said he has been saving up his money for this. You know, all he been doing is going to work and eating. He ain't been doing nothing else. And he basically wants to be able to, you know, also have money that's saved up when she come out for her to go ahead and spend this money, okay? I said, all right, I ain't mad at you. I'll see you, all right. And so while he's in there, he actually recognizes this lady where he's like, yo, I think I stole your mother car at one time when I was younger and got in trouble for it. And she was like, yeah, you did. And he was like, I'm sorry. I was in a bad place at that time. I came a long way since then. I'm doing a lot better. And she basically was like, well, I'm glad to see that or whatever. And the other lady was looking like, okay, what the hell? She's like, you know, you owe us $400 more. How would you like to pay that? But I was like, yo, that's funny, okay? And I guess, you know, it's a small town. Everybody know everybody or whatever the case may be anyway. And so, you know, he wanted to go ahead and apologize for that and say he was a different person in a different place now. I said, okay now. So, child, then we get Miss Monique and Derek, okay? Now, Monique is on the phone talking to Derek. This is a situation where, you know, he's been in prison for 10 years or whatever, and he was 19 when he went in. He's 29 now, and Monique is 34, you know, and she's a receptionist or whatever, right? And he's getting released in 2 days. And so he's saying how, you know, he haven't had sex in 8 years, 10 months or whatever. Well, that's what he said. And then he said it should be about 2.5 for her because, you know, she was saying me either. He was like, yeah, but you ain't been as long as me. So he's the one that said, like, oh, it should be 2.5 years. And she was like, yeah, but the way she said that year, I was like, girl, are you sure it's been that long? So, you know, they talking about being rusty, and, you know, she said that she's glad to finally be able to open up and experience love because at one point she would just basically do the do and be like, yeah, okay, bye, you could go ahead about your business, right? She never really got serious with nobody. And this was her first person, and of all the people, somebody that's basically knocked up. You know, he had went to jail for drug and possession. So I said, okay, girl. But, you know, she was basically saying that her weight is definitely an issue. Like, he's a person that's very, healthy, got a nice physique. Okay, he handsome, he fine to her. He's working out in the gym 2 times a day, and he wants her to be healthy too. So she says, you know, they never met in person, they never seen in person. You know, one night she was scrolling on Facebook and she came across him by clicking on some things and seen a prison pen pal group and was like, oh, that's interesting. Okay, girl, you know. And they start conversing back and forth, and she was sending him pictures, basically her private area, her breast and her butt. I said, yeah, I'll be bold out here in these streets, okay? So, of course, she's saying she's kind of nervous, and, you know, they enter in a new state in their relationship and all of that. And so he was like, oh, well, I'm always going to have your back and I'm never going to stop when I get out. And, I love you and all of that. And so she told him she got to go. And, of course, she's going inside to actually hang out with her friends. But she says, he don't know she's out, okay? Of course, he doesn't even like for her to go out and he doesn't want her drinking and stuff. And so now when she get there, her friends like, damn, what took you so long? And she said, I was talking to Derek. And they like, of course, like you always do. And they said, she asking them, did they order her drink? They like, no, we didn't know what you wanted to drink. All right, we ordered us our drinks. I said, I know that's right. So they was just asking her, like, when is he coming out? And, of course, she was saying in 2 days or whatever. And they was saying, what's your expectations? Like, how you going to like him when he get out? And she's like, yeah, I'm going to like him. I'm good with him. They was like, but what about the opposite way? What is he going to think of you? And then when they was asking his age and she said 29, they was like, that's young for you. You usually go for the retirement ages or whatever, right? But she says he is, mature. They asking, oh, is he going to propose? Does he want to settle down? Does he want kids? And she's like, oh, he's proposing as soon as he get out, and he's getting out Sunday and all of this different kind of stuff. So their concern is, what kind of pictures has she been sending? Like, does he really know her weight? Because he's a small man of a certain physique or whatever the case may be, and she's overweight. And I'm like, well, that don't necessarily mean nothing, okay? I ain't trying to be funny. I know a lot of big women, including myself, who has went up and down with my weight, that have had guys with the six pack that would be, quote unquote healthy, whatever, physique, skinny, or whatever you want to call it. And I know many others, that have been that way. I mean, even though she may not have shown her full body, if, according to her, if she's been sending breast pics, vagina pics, and butt pics, honey, he gotta have some type of daggone idea, okay? He may not ever know every nook and cranny, but I doubt that he thinks she over here a daggone stick figure either, honey, all right? Let's just be clear. But they was like, she may be just doing these little selfies of the upper body and not showing full body, and so he may feel a way once he get out and see her, and things could go completely left. And that's what they are concerned about, and so they say that right now she seems like she has answers for everything. They was like, you're not nervous, you're not scared. And she was like, yeah, I'm a little nervous, but I love him and I feel like everything's gonna be fine. I'm trying to be positive even though y'all being negative, okay? So she go ahead into this weight loss appointment at, basically looking into getting surgery. She's saying at the end of the day it's about her being healthy and it's about her. It's not just about him and being with him, but he has been kind of like, pushing her and encouraging her to do it, because he's saying once he gets out, he would want them to be working out at the gym together and both of them to be healthy and things of that nature. So she's looking to lose like 100 pounds if she can. And she's there filling out this paperwork, and when it says like, how fast would you like to lose the weight, or when would you like to lose the weight, she made a reference to like 1 day. Child, we know that ain't happening no 1 day. But when we get the backstory of her doctor coming in and just saying, give me a little bit of your background and how you got here. Now, mind you, he called on the phone at the exact time the appointment was, so she was like, she's gonna have it on speaker. She tells the doctor, like, my boyfriend is locked up and I want him to be able to listen too. And she tells him to mute the phone because there's a whole bunch of noise coming from him. And the doctor's telling her to give her background. And she was just saying that, she's always kind of been big as a kid, but it got worse as her being an adult. After she lost a baby in 2017 that was premature, that lived for, I think it was 3 days, but her lungs wasn't fully developed. She went into a deep depression, which is understandable, okay? And then after that, you had COVID and stuff like that. And so she gained over 150 pounds. I said, Dag, that's a lot of weight to gain, all right? And so basically, she want to be able to try to, go through this process and see what she could do to get herself more healthier. She also has diabetes and she has sleep apnea. So she was like, that's not good. She's too young to be having all these different health issues. And he was basically saying he don't want to sleep next to nobody with no damn machine on them or whatever, right? And so basically they were saying they would teach her how to eat according to her body, lose weight in a healthy way. And, you know, this whole 12-week plan that they do comes up to about $4,500. So she was like, wow, that's a lot. So he basically was saying, yeah, he heard. And he was also asking the doctor, like, what does drinking do? And the doctor was like, well, that's not good. That actually adds to stuff. So he's like, you hear that, babe? And, you know, far as from what he was sounding like, is like he is willing or wanting her to do it if she wants to do it. And he pretty much thinks that it would be a good idea. Now, whether it could fit into her budget and whether she's actually willing to do it, she just basically was like, it's a lot to think about. And so that's what we got with this introduction, y'all, you know, to these couples. Y'all go ahead and put it in the comments. Let me know what you thinking about this. Anything that I left out, you know, put it in the comments. We could discuss it there. And, yeah, child, the messiness continues, okay? Like, comment, share, subscribe if you were so inclined. Give me a wave. Let me know you came by. Put some flames up in the sky. Till next time.